As Mazi Nnamdi Kanu prepares for his upcoming appeal, I would like his lawyers, consultants, and legal representatives to please listen to what I'm about to reveal in this video. I did some research and I came up with how the appeal court is going to function on the D-Day. The processes from start to finish to get you very, very ready and conversant with the modus operandi so that you don't get stuck or make mistakes. Because at this point, it's very important that the lawyers and the consultants should be aware of every step in the appeal court on the D-Day to avoid pitfalls and also to be able to maneuver any obstacle that comes your way on that D-Day. Because any error, any mistake on that day can be very costly. Whatever you're doing, I advise you to leave it and focus on this video or go and finish it up, and when you're done, you come back because you don't want to miss a bit of what I'm about to reveal to you. Take a second to like. If it's your first time, subscribe and click on that bell and select the one that says all to get notified whenever we release a video. Let's go. On the D-Day of the appeal, a panel of judges of the Court of Appeal hears the appeal. Commonly 3 people, 3 judges, but sometimes more, depending on the case's importance. Now, there is also a call over of appeals. The court calls out matters fixed for the day from the cause list. If parties or their counsel do not appear, listen carefully, the appeal may be struck out or the judgment may be affirmed unless there is a valid excuse. That is, if you are not there on that day, the appeal court has the right to strike out this appeal and give judgment to the government. That is what this is saying. So that's why I say you need to pay attention. Also, if the federal government lawyers or the federal government is not there also, the appeal court can also strike them away and give judgment to Nnamdi Kanu. So you see that day, everybody is under must, you must be there. The appeal court does not have that time. It's not the high court. So that is why I say listen carefully so that those that can advise Onyendu can go ahead and do that, while those also who are part of this legal case can also be warned. No games on that day. If you are going to represent Nnamdi Kanu, you must be ready to be there and on time. Let's go on. Oral arguments. The usual order is this. The appellate's counsel argues first, which is Nnamdi Kanu that is appealing. So Nnamdi Kanu will argue first. Then the respondent will reply. The appellate will now have the final short reply. It's not a must. It's not a must. But most times, since it's the appellate, he also will reply the reply that the respondent gave. That means he may be called to speak twice. The arguments are strictly restricted to the grounds stated in the notice of appeal. New reasons cannot be raised on the day. I say it again. The arguments are strictly restricted to the grounds stated in the notice of appeal, which is that appeal brief. Everything being said on the appeal court day must have already by now been submitted to the appeal court. So any argument being made on that day is going to be from that argument already written, not a new one. So maybe if you remember something, outside it, you can't say it on that day because it's not going to count. And you're going to also, kill time. So it is very important that we make do of the arguments already raised in the appeal that has been submitted to the appeal court, so that you understand that. I'm sure that was why the whole process was a little bit slow, because Nnamdi Kanu wanted to make sure that every argument was there to the latter. So the focus is legal, pointing out misapplications of law, procedural unfairness, contradictions in evidence, and errors of law. Also, no new witnesses, no retrial. Unlike a trial court, the Court of Appeal typically does not hear new witnesses or readduce evidence. It reviews what is already in the record unless specific limited exemptions as permitted by Court of Appeal rules. You understand that? Definitely. So that you know and be guided. You don't go there and start, trying to, just make sure that you are aware. On that day, there is nothing like calling new witnesses or whatever. Just know that. Then, judicial questions and clarifications. The judges may ask questions of counsel about legal principles, application of statutes, precedents, or interpretation of the record. So that you be aware, the judges may ask those questions of counsel and legal principles. Let's go on. Adjournments or ruling. At the end of oral address, the court may deliver judgment immediately or reserve judgment for a later day. What this means is that on the judgment day means that the panel will deliver its decision after the arguments, usually in simpler appeals. The judgments may come on that day. That is for the first one. The judgment after the argument of the appeal court, that day, the appeal court can give judgment. Also, the appeal court can reserve judgment, which means often the court reserves judgment, which takes the matter away to write a detailed judgment. When reserved, a separate date is now fixed for reading of the judgment. This is another D-Day. The law allows judgment to be read even if some justices who heard the appeal aren't present, so long as written opinions are delivered. That means on the day that the judgment may be read, if it is not on that day, one judge among all of them that came that day can be the one that will come and read everything that they have decided. So this is just like saying that there are two options after that appeal court day. That day, judgment may be given, or the appeal court will say the day it will finally give judgment. So it's not more than 1 day or highest 2 days something. So also prepare for this. Have it at the back of your mind. Let's go on. So the possible outcomes on appeal on the judgment day is this. 1, the appeal is allowed. Or 2, the appeal is dismissed. In a criminal appeal, the conviction might be quashed or the sentence modified. And if it's dismissed, the court holds the lower court's judgment was correct. That is, if the appeal is dismissed. So the appeal is either allowed or, on the other hand, is either dismissed. So, adjourned for further hearing. The court may ask for further briefs or oral clarification before judgment. This is very rare, where the court will say, no, we're not giving judgment, we want to still hear other briefs and whatever. But it is very rare, it rarely happens. Now, these are practical steps to guide you as you go to represent Nnamdi Kanu. You must prepare a robust written brief ahead of time, which I'm sure you've already done, and you have a copy of it. Then, be ready to answer questions from judges directly. Be ready to answer questions from judges directly. They might ask you questions. They are going to ask questions because it is a court of appeal. When you make your arguments and the federal government lawyer make the arguments, the judges would like to test questions from the two sides. So be ready, prepare to answer questions from the judges. Also, stick strictly to the grounds of appeal. Don't dilly-dally. That book, that brief that you submitted to the appeal court, study it very well. That is going to form the basis of the questions that the appeal court may ask, or that is going to also form where you're going to argue from. So you must stick strictly to the grounds of appeal. Argue on what you brought on ground. Don't write something and you go outside to bring something else to argue from outside. No. By now, every argument must be written down and should be in the hands of the appeal court. Also, be punctual and present. Absence can injure the appeal posture. I have said this before, that Absenteeism is already, you have lost the case. And you also need to be on time. The appeal court checks all these things because you are coming to fight for your case. You should show it by the interest you put. So as lawyers, be very guided, please. Be very guided, because I'm sure that Kanu definitely is going to send lawyer down there. So whoever is going to represent Kanu, please be guided on these steps and don't come late, and also do not fail to be there. Don't. When judgment is reserved, always check the cause list for the real delivery dates. You understand what I mean? In case that the judgment is not set on that day, make sure that you are aware of the delivery date so that you work with that. And that is how it works on the D-Day of the appeal court. I just wanted to make sure that we protect Onyendu very well, and we stand for him in terms of guiding the lawyers around him and those advising him to make sure that in the course of their businesses and their lives, they do not fail to remember that this appeal court is a very disciplined step and a different course from the high court they go every day. You know, this appeal court, they don't go it every day. So most of them have not actually, come to breast with how the appeal works. And it's very important because little details can make you lose an appeal, not because you are right or wrong. And Onyendu at this point, because we are aware of the delicacy or the kind of the delicateness around him, and of course the people around him, many of them we don't know who to even trust now. It's very important that to avoid sabotage, these lawyers must be kept on their toes to know how the appeal court works from the moment the judge enters to the end of that day, and how to compose themselves to avoid any error that can lead to the striking out of the case, or that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu loses that case based on some technicalities. That is where we are right now. So, lovers of freedom around the world, in the next few days, definitely, we hope to hear a date fixed for this appeal. We are not afraid, because Kanu always says that we should relax, that God is in control. This man has led us right. He has prophesied and everything has come to pass. And he said that he will defeat them in their own court. And he has already done that. That is the prophecy already checked. This is also a huge milestone, and I want to make sure that the lawyers are up to date. Wherever you're watching me from, God bless you. And remember, that Igbo man around you is your brother. Please be kind, show love, and help where you can. I've been your host, Chi Ne Du. Thank you for watching my video. So I'll see you next one. Peace.